Spotted this morning. Bride is appalled that her bridesmaids were inconsiderate enough to get pregnant. Is it wrong of me to upset that 2 of the bridesmaids are pregnant and due the month of my wedding? Unless they both honestly are genuinely trying to overshadow you and it was a whole plan they concocted to get pregnant at the same time so that they could give birth during your wedding month. Unfortunately, it may be wrong. I don't think you can be that upset. You may need to reflect. I feel like I have no right to tell people they can't have kids for my one day, but I bend over backwards for both these girls and my feelings are hurt that they just couldn't be considerate of my one big day. As if they have any control on when they give birth. Do you expect them to just hold it in? Like when you're at a friend's house and you don't want to go poop because you're too embarrassed, so you wait till you get home? People's lives do not revolve around you, including pregnancy. That's very rude to want to demand that. They also dropped out of the Bachelorette, and now all the girls are forced to pay more money, which is completely unfair. I mean, why? Is it because you're doing like a destination thing? I guess if you're all pooling in to afford the thing, I guess probably, but if they had like complications with pregnancy, can you really blame them? Y'all clearly missed the mark. Upset they are pregnant? No. Unfortunate that they are due the month of my wedding? Yes. But you were just saying how hurt your feelings are. It sounded more than just unfortunate. The math ain't mathing. I never asked anyone to stop their lives for my day, and I told them that when they told me they were trying. But I feel kind of lied to because both girls told me that they would start trying in the summertime, and now they are dropping out of all the wedding festivities and costing everyone else more money. They promised they would be there for me, and both have dropped out and have told me that there's a chance they won't be at the wedding. You're trying to say this isn't a big deal, but then you talk about how it's a big deal. Like, you say you don't want to demand them to revolve their lives around you, but then you say these things that clearly indicates that this is what you want. It's one thing to be bummed that 2 of your bridesmaids won't be able to attend your bachelorette and may no longer attend your wedding. That sucks, no matter the reason, and it's okay to be upset about that and move on. What isn't cool is expecting anyone to wait to get pregnant, or be like actually mad at them for doing so. Big picture, my dude. Because it's things like this that people will remember how you acted. Being so upset over things that you have no right to be actually upset by. And that is what they will remember from your wedding, which is very sad. Don't act like this. Be better. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my poorer relatives to my wedding for a good reason? Tell me this good reason. I am getting married in June. I sent out my invitations in January to give everyone time to RSVP. We are having a destination wedding at a great resort in the Dominican Republic. Our invitations were expensive. Your invitations alone were expensive? And we thought it was a good place to economize if we only sent invitations to people who could afford to come. Making assumptions, are we? Right now, my mom says she's very disappointed in me. I've upset so many people. My mom says I was rude to judge people by their income. I didn't judge anyone. I just picked the people I thought could afford to go. That unfortunately is the basis of judging a person.
Bad news for you, bucko.
You're the a-hole. If you don't want to invite those people to your wedding, that's fine. But this is a ridiculous cost-cutting measure, and it's very rude to assume their ability to pay on their behalf. You could have easily sent an email invitation or a cheaper invite and then allowed them to decide for themselves. At the time my former best friend got married, he'd apparently decided on a destination wedding in Nepal, as his wife-to-be was Nepalese. I'd known him for some 30 years at this point, so it was just assumed that I'd be the best man whenever that day came. I found out that not only was I not the best man, but I wasn't invited to the wedding either because I was also perceived as poor. I was perceived as a peasant. So yes, YTA. Big time. Am I the a-hole for refusing the opportunity to walk my sister down the aisle? My father passed away when I, male 26, was 22, and my sister, female 29, was 25. Lots of numbers. With this in mind, my sister, after getting engaged, asked me if I would do the honor of walking her down the aisle. At first I was elated, and so I enthusiastically agreed. Then things quickly changed after my sister realized that my wife was pregnant.
Yes?
In the preceding months, my sister made my wife's life hell. Why is that? Who initially had been one of her bridesmaids, but was relatively recently informed that she will not be one. Because for some reason, someone just being pregnant is going to overshadow the bride, which is not how it works. They are not responsible for your insecurities. I feel like if someone was pregnant during my wedding, there's literally no problem with that. Therapy. Originally it was fine, but as my wife's pregnancy became visible, my sister would at times taunt her and make rude comments towards her. Say it to my face, wench! During the bachelorette party just a few days ago, she even yelled at her because she was ruining her fun by being too distracting and not drinking. I kid you not. I wish you were, because this is ridiculous. Can you leave the poor thing alone? She's just pregnant. Ugh. The ensuing onslaught resulted in my wife being removed as one of her bridesmaids. She even left my pregnant wife on the side of the road.
Wench!
As my sister made her way to a party planned in part by my wife in a limousine paid for by me. How dare thee? This, coupled with the fact that she had asked me recently to ask my wife to stay home because her pregnancy will take attention away from her on her special day, just broke me. I'm broken beyond repair. I can't take this anymore. I called her up yesterday after I found out what she said to my wife, and I told her I will not be attending the wedding and that she will have to find someone else to walk her down the aisle. Thank you! I'm still leaving her on the side, leaving a pregnant woman on the side of the road? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? I would fight you. Do not take your insecurities out on other people. Oh my gosh. That's when the calls began. Everyone has been calling me, telling that I am overreacting? She left a pregnant woman on the side of the road. Do they know about that? I'd like to ask that. And I am intentionally trying to sabotage her wedding. Alright, look here. Anyone can walk you down the aisle. She even called to yell at me and told me she had always hated that B word while referring to my wife. I can't. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Ah! People like this test my empathy. I told her to F off, of course. My mother has been extremely sympathetic towards my wife, and she agrees with me. Thank the heavens! The mother is sane. My wife has been crying over this, and she has herself received an onslaught of messages. If you're telling me that she is attacking her more, she's just pregnant! These stories are going to give me an aneurysm one day. I guarantee it. I blocked all of my relatives except my mother, of course, and I'm planning a trip to Disneyland for my wife. She deserves it and so much more. An eye on the day of my sister's wedding, as I already booked the days off from work, and Disney is where my wife and I went on our first date when we lived in LA. The news has started his own onslaught. Nevertheless, am I the a-hole? No! Just awful, awful. 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 Not the a-hole. Your sister made it impossible for you to participate in the wedding. I can't believe people can be this awful. Have you a heart of stone? Boy, no kidding. OP writes a list of what your sister has said and done to your wife, and the follow-up call where she says she always hated that B word and sent it out to everyone who's contacted you to B word you out. I am so sick of these Bridezillas who feel like they can say and do anything because it's their special day. This OP, this. Guaranteed all these people calling and harassing you only got Bridezilla's version of events. Take screenshots, print them out, and everyone who has an opinion gets a little packet of Bridezilla's abuse. Like, I'm laughing because it's funny, but also like, dude, she has to be majorly like making the poor pregnant lady out to be just a complete villain for people to be taking her side. Ah! You deserve nothing. What a way to finish off. A deep breath is indeed what I needed because that was terrible. As always, I hope you are entertained by my unending rage. I'm probably gonna go need to take more, like, I gotta do yoga, I gotta do some breathing exercises, I gotta do something. I hope your day is going well, but if not, I hope this video brightened your day at least a little bit. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting our coverage in this insanity. For the love of all that is good in this world, Be a good human. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Gonna go cry now.